So before we hop into this game against the Chicago White Sox, the Texas Rangers do have an injury on their AAA team, Jose Trevino, who was the organization's number 3 catcher, and I was planning on probably calling him up pretty soon because Jeff Mathis is the number 2 catcher, and he is a guy whose value is completely useless in MLB The Show, where his entire thing is that he's an insane pitch framer, and that does not matter at all in MLB The Show, so he's just pointless to have. So I was at some point going to call up Trevino, but I can't do that now because he has a broken arm. And since we are about to play the White Sox, it is worth mentioning that Eloy Jimenez is currently leading the American League with 9 home runs. The Rangers travel out to the south side of Chicago at Guaranteed Rate Field to take on the White Sox, who are going to be sending out the veteran lefty Gio Gonzalez, still looking for his first win of the season here against the Rangers. Top of the first inning, 1 out, it's Elvis Andrus, who's going to go out to right center field. That one's going to get down for a base knock. Thought about 2, but holds up at 1. Smartly, and then Joey Gallo comes to the plate, hits a high arcing fly ball out to right field, and that baby is gone. A 2-run shot to kick off the game for the Texas Rangers off the bat of Joey Gallo, and Gio Gonzalez's start is not looking good. Kyle Gibson, who's also been struggling mightily for the Rangers, is their starter on the day, and in the bottom half of the first inning, it's going to be Leury Garcia, who's going to hit one, lands in front of Joey Gallo, gets past him, and that's going to allow Garcia to have himself a 2-bagger. So he's in scoring position. After that, it would be Moncada who strikes out, and then Tim Anderson is going to fly out to right field. So 2 down, a runner on second base now, as they do not test Gallo's arm, obviously. But then after that, it's Eloy Jimenez who adds to his home run total. That's number 10 on the season for Eloy Jimenez, and it ties the game up at 2. Each team slugger has a 2-run shot here in the first inning, so Gibson would get out of that inning, but then in the bottom of the second, it's going to be a long pop fly from Nomar Mazara, the former Ranger, and Solak misplays it. It's going to bounce into the seats. That's a ground rule double, so 1 out, runner on second base, and the catcher, Mercedes, is going to put one into the bullpen out in left field, and another 2-run shot. German Mercedes' first career home run, as it's a 4-2 lead for the White Sox. Bottom of the third now, Eloy Jimenez with another hit. This time it's going to be a base knock, so he's on first. Next batter up is Encarnacion, who singles into left field, so back-to-back base knocks, and that would end Kyle Gibson's day. Does not even make it through 3 innings in this one, as Jesse Chavez will then come out of the pen for the 4th time this season to relieve Gibson. And so with runners on first and second and nobody out, he would work a ground ball. That's a 3-6-3 double play. And then with a runner on third and 2 outs, strikes out Mazara to get out of the inning. So move things on to the bottom of the 5th now, where Moncada digs in, and he's going gapping. That one's going to be off of the track and off of the wall. So Moncada, easy 2-bagger for him to get himself in a scoring position to lead off the inning. And then Tim Anderson is punched out on a down and away pitch that nicks the outside half of the zone. So runner on second with 1 out, and it's going to bloop in front of Solak as he was playing so deep. No chance to throw out the runner at the plate, so it's a 5-2 lead for the White Sox. In the top of the 6th, Willie Calhoun pulverized a pitch into the right field bullpen. That's a solo shot, makes it a 5-3 ball game, cuts the White Sox lead down to 2. But then we move things on to the bottom of the 7th, and things just fell apart for the Rangers, even more so as Moncada picks up a single. That brings up Tim Anderson, hits a ground ball over to second base. Odor gets the lead runner but cannot get Tim Anderson at first, so it's runner on first with 1 out. Brings up Eloy Jimenez. He's going to single in the left field, so it's another single, and it's first and second with 2 outs now for Jose Abreu, who's going to hit a dribbler over to Andrus, and that's going to not be able to be fielded. He stumbles with that one, so it's bases juiced for Nomar Mazara, who's going to rip a ball into the left center field gap. That gets way into the gap, and that's going to score all 3 runs. A bases-clearing double for Mazara makes it an 8-3 game, and that would end up being your final score as the Chicago White Sox easily handle the Texas Rangers as they were not able to bounce back from that Kyle Gibson start, where he gave up a lot of runs and just could not make it through 3 innings. And then also the bullpen wasn't exactly great either, to be expected with this team because the bullpen, on paper, is not very good. So Gio Gonzalez picks up his first win with the White Sox, and then Eloy Jimenez was player of the game. He was 4 for 5 in the day with a home run and a couple other singles. And before we hop into the next game, let's do a little bit of an update as we are currently 12-15 on the season, sitting 3rd place in the American League West, which is not exactly the start you want to have, but it's not like it's not reboundable from. You can't you can't give up after having an okay first month, obviously. And as we saw in the previous game, Kyle Gibson has been seriously struggling so far in the season. That is something that is concerning, though, because he is on the first year of a 3-year deal. So, not a situation that I really want to be in. Hopefully he can turn things around as the season goes on. But one guy who has not been struggling, he's been shoving, actually, is Mike Minor. He has the 2nd best ERA in the American League through 29 2/3 innings pitched. He was the Rangers All-Star last year in 2019. And unfortunately, Jesse Chavez is on the IL. He has a strained pectoral muscle. He doesn't have too much longer on the IL, but he is on the IL nonetheless. And we are going to be making some changes to the roster, as a couple things we've done. First one, Juan Nicasio has been called up from AAA Nashville to replace Jesse Chavez in the bullpen. Nicasio was a non-roster invite in spring training. We added him to the 40-man, and he is now on the big league team. Nick Solak has been sent down to AAA. He was slashing 185, 228, 185 in the big leagues, which is not good at all. It's actually quite terrible. And he's not playing every day in the majors, so it's definitely hard to get out of something like that. So he's going to be down in AAA, playing every day, hopefully figuring it out, and he will definitely be back at some point in hopefully this season. Since he was essentially our 4th outfielder, we did have to call up a guy to be our new 4th outfielder, and the Rangers don't have too much outfield depth, so Adalis Garcia is now our 4th outfielder. He's solid defensively, he's got some good speed, not so great at the plate, though. He's not, like, awful, but he's definitely not a guy who you can rely on to be, like, a middle-of-the-order guy, obviously, which is not what we're asking from him anyways. But he is going to be out there as our 4th outfielder, as now Matt Duffy's role becomes the backup infielder rather than backup first baseman, and then Isaiah Kiner-Falefa was sent down to AAA just because he doesn't really fit with our current bench with the guys we have on it, so he's going to go down to AAA and play a lot more than he was in the big leagues. And then Blake Swihart has been called up from AAA. He was raking in AAA to start the season, and he will now act as the backup catcher because we also sent down Jeff Mathis, and he is also going to be getting time in the corner outfield spots, mainly left field, but he probably will end up getting some time in right at some point, but mainly left field and catcher. And then Greg Bird was called up to be the the first baseman against left-handed pitching, as well as just a bench bat in general, because I felt like we were lacking a guy who could come off and, like, pinch hit in the later innings, because everybody else on the bench was like, oh, I guess I'll pinch hit with Matt Duffy. And there you see our new look lineups against right-handed pitching and left-handed pitching. You got Swihart in there against lefties, Bird, as I said. Ronald Guzman has actually been very, very good in his platoon against right-handed pitching, so that's definitely good to see. And we are about to play the Oakland A's, so it is worth mentioning that they traded Jake Diekman to the Boston Red Sox. He's been garbage so far in the season, so if the Red Sox saw those numbers and wanted to give up a C potential pitcher and like a mid-20s first baseman who is like a D potential, I mean, sure, go ahead. That's not like a trade that I'm going to be like, oh my god, what a dumb MLB trade. It's fine. You can do that as many times as you want. It's also worth mentioning that the A's are going to be without Chris Davis because he is injured with a torn finger ligament. So the Rangers are back in Arlington playing host to their division foe, Oakland Athletics. They're sitting at 17-12, and Mike Minor's getting the nod for the Rangers. This will be his 6th start of the 2020 campaign. And in the top half of the first inning, Stephen Piscotty with 1 out is going up the middle for a base knock, so he's on first base. Next batter up would be Marcus Semien, and he's also going to pick up a base knock, so back-to-back singles for the A's. It's first and second, 2 outs now, as Chapman's going to hit one over the head of Frazier at third base. Blake Swihart out in left field today, hits the cutoff man Frazier, and then guns him down at the plate. Piscotty trying to score. No, sir. Game remains scoreless. Move things on to the bottom of the second, where A.J. Pook was the starter for the A's. And Robinson Chirinos chops one at the shortstop. The throw over to first is going to be in the dirt, and Canna could not scoop it. So it's going to be reaching on an error for Chirinos, and then Todd Frazier rips one into the left center field gap, and that's going to allow Chirinos to score all the way from first base, chugging along on the RBI double from Frazier. Brings up Greg Bird, who would then bloop one over the head of the shortstop. Frazier then moves up to third base, so it's runners on the corners for the Rangers here with 1 out. Elvis Andrus then flies one out to deep right field. It would be caught, but it then would allow Frazier to tag up from third base and hustle on home to score on the sac fly. It's a 2-0 lead for the Rangers. Move things on to the top of the third now, where Mike Minor really settled in, and he was dominant. Strikes out Laureano, also Piscotty. That's 2 strikeouts in the third. On to the top of the fourth, strikes out Semien to lead off the inning. Next batter up was Mark Canna. He's going to be sawed off as the bat goes flying. Minor makes the play himself. That's 2 down in the inning. And then the third batter is Chapman, chopping one over to third base. And Todd Frazier saying, hey, I can play this position pretty well as well, as he makes the jump throw from foul territory. Move things on to the top of the fifth, where Chad Pinder strikes out for the second out. And then Sheldon Noisy gets the fastball up and in for the third out. Top of the sixth now, Tony Kemp. Drop third strike, Chirinos blocks it, tosses over to first. Next batter is Laureano, going down on the knuckle curve, down and away. And then Piscotty is going to get a taste of the knuckle curve as well, strikes out the side. Mike Minor. Move things on to the top of the seventh now, where finally the A's start to do something, as Semien is going to hit one in the left field for a base knock, so 1 out, runner on first, as Chapman is going to hit one over to the pitcher. Minor makes a nice play in the field, but it is going to be a runner in scoring position now for Austin Allen, the catcher, who's going to bloop one in front of Swihart in left field, takes a tumble, gets it into the cutoff man, but a run does come in to score, makes it a 2-1 ball game. That would end Mike Minor's day, as they don't want to push him. His energy was completely gone at that point, so Shane Carl comes in, who's been magnificent out of the bullpen for the Rangers this season, and he would strike out Sheldon Noisy to get out of the inning. So move things on to the bottom of seventh, where Mike Fiers was on to pitch, and he's going to be facing Blake Swihart, the recently called up left fielder in this game, as he rips one down the right field line. That's going to get into the corner, past the diving glove of the fielder, and Swihart's not stopping at second. That's a triple for Blake Swihart immediately in a very good scoring position. As Ronald Guzman comes on to pinch hit, he would strike out, but the drop third strike, throw over to first from Austin Allen is over the head of the first baseman Canna, as then Odor comes in a pinch run for Guzman and also play second base. So then Danny Santana would not be able to drive in anybody, as he would chop one over to first base. Move things on to the top of the ninth, where Jose Leclerc comes on looking for the save. First batter, Laureano. Peyton corners, gets in this go down swinging. 3-2 count to Piscotty, or to Canna, I should say. Gets him to go down looking. And then Chapman with a full count. Pitch gets away from Leclerc, walks Chapman, and then it's going to be a rip into the right center field gap, off the dirt and off the wall. That's going to score the runner all the way from first base, as Austin Allen ties the game with an RBI double and Leclerc blows the save. That would end his day. DeMarcus Evans then comes out of the bullpen, entering for the 14th time this season, and he would strike out Chad Pinder to get his team out of the inning. The Rangers would not do anything in the bottom of the ninth, so DeMarcus Evans stays on for the top of the 10th and extra innings. And it's gonna be Sheldon Noisy, the Oklahoma product, hitting one over the left field fence, his first MLB home run, and it gives the A's a 3-2 lead in this ball game. Joakim Soria comes on in the 10th, looking to shut the door. He would strike out Odor as he came right after him with a bunch of pitches on the corners. Did the same thing as Santana, strikes him out as well, and then the third batter, Joey Gallo, gets the same treatment as Joakim Soria, strikes out the side and slams the door in the Rangers' face as the A's win this ball game in extra innings, 3-2 here at Globe Life Field. AJ Puck, AJ Pook, whatever you say his name, 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, 6 strikeouts, only gave up 2 earned runs. He gets player of the game honors in this very low-scoring affair between the Rangers and the A's. Petit gets the win, DeMarcus Evans gets the loss, as Leclerc also blew the save, and then the save goes to Joakim Soria. And now we are officially into the month of May. We have started the new month, and we are going to kick off May with a series in Boston. But first, as you can see, there's the American League and National League player, pitcher, rookies of the month. And if we take a look at some of our players, of course, we just said that Guzman's been hitting well for us, and then we also have Willie Calhoun, Robinson Chirinos, and Todd Frazier have all been hitting very well for us this season so far through 1 month, while Shin-Soo Choo, Joey Gallo, and Rougned Odor have all been pretty dreadful through April, especially Rougned Odor. The man has a 471 OPS. What else can I say about how bad he's been? Gallo is obviously very disappointing considering he's Joey Gallo and he's the best bat by far on our team. And since we are about to play the Red Sox, it is worth mentioning that they will be without their catcher, Christian Vasquez, as he is out with a fractured arm. And then Guzman and Bird both have very minor injuries for us. Neither of them are injury list worthy, so they're just going to be playing through those injuries if necessary. And we're off to Boston to take on the Red Sox at Fenway Park as they're going to be sending out the right-hander, the hard-throwing right-hander, Nathan Eovaldi, for the 7th time this season. And leading things off for the Rangers against his former team is Blake Swihart, as he's going to poke one out to left field, as that's going to be a base knock for him. Next batter up is Todd Frazier. He's also going to single, and Swihart being aggressive on the base paths. He's going first to third, so runners on the corners with nobody out for Willie Calhoun, and he's going to pop one up to deep left field. That's going to be right at the track. And Swihart being aggressive yet again, tagging up from third. He's going to score. It's a 1-0 lead for the Rangers. So Lance Lynn was the starter for the Rangers. He had an easy 1-2-3 first inning, but then in the second inning, first batter he's facing, Rafael Devers, throws a pitch. He feels a sharp pain in his hip. He would have to come out of the game, so doesn't even make it through 2 innings, and Rafael Montero comes in cold out of the pen, and it goes about as well as you would hope. Strikes out Devers, finishes that at bat. Next batter up is Mitch Moreland, blows a fastball by him for out number 2, and then gets a fastball down and away to Chavis, and that's a striking at the side for Rafael Montero, comes in and gets the job done in that inning. He's still in the game in the bottom half of the 4th, where Verdugo is going to hit a ball down the left field line. That's going to get past Adolis Garcia. It's a 2-bagger for Verdugo to lead off the inning. Next batter up is Martinez, and since the outfield's playing so deep, even with Santana's arm, that's not going to be able to throw out the runner Verdugo at the plate, as it's an RBI single for Martinez, ties the game up, but then Montero clutches up, gets a ground ball from Bogart. That's a 4-6-3 double play. 2 down in the inning. Next batter up is Devers, blows a fastball by him. Game remains 1-1 out of that inning. So move things on to the top of the 7th, where Darwinzon Hernandez comes on for the Red Sox for the 23rd time already in the season. And Danny Santana is going to rip a ball into left center field. The diving attempt from Bradley was not enough. It hits off his glove, and Santana's into second with a double. In scoring position with 1 out, Elvis Andrus then rips a ball off the Green Monster. And for whatever reason, Santana did not go until the ball landed, so he's going to be dead meat at third base, and nothing going in that inning for the Rangers move things on all the way to the top of the ninth. It's still a 1-1 game. 2 outs. Elvis Andrus at the plate yet again. He's going to hit one off the monster. This time nobody on base, so he has himself a 2-out double. So he's in scoring position. Next batter up is Adolis Garcia. Could not pull the trigger. They're going to the bottom of the ninth, where Juan Nicasio comes out of the pen for the Rangers, making his 6th appearance of the season, and he would proceed to get a flare out from Moreland with 2 outs for the 3rd out and send this ball game to extras. On the 10th, Nicasio still on the hill. Mitch Moreland picks up a base knock. Or no, that was correction. Jonathan Lucroy picks up a base knock. After that was Jackie Bradley Jr. picking up a single. So 1st and 2nd for the Red Sox with 2 outs. It's now Verdugo who's going to single past Odor at second base. Gallo picks it up. They're going to send Lucroy for whatever reason, and he's dead meat at the plate. Gallo guns him down, and we are going to the 11th, where Jose Leclerc comes on, looking to make it a quick inning, and he does. 1-2-3 inning, capped off by striking at Devers on the down and away cheese. So Nick Goody enters in the bottom of the 12th as we are still tied at 1, and he proceeds to have a dominant 2 straight innings. Strikes out Moreland, then it's going to be Chavis getting caught on the down and in changeup, and then for the 3rd out of the inning, it's going to be Lucroy on the front door slider. On the 13th, Goody was on for another inning. He gets him on the back foot slider. That's Jackie Bradley Jr., that is. Next batter up is Benintendi, catching him on the backdoor slider. And then after that, it would be Verdugo whiffing through his slider as well. And it's now still tied at 1 as Ryan Brazier comes on for the Red Sox in the top of the 14th. Greg Bird connects on a pitch, hits it down the right field line, but it's going to be right at Verdugo for out number 1. Next batter up is Danny Santana, who hits a loud pop fly to the right field fence, but Verdugo puts that one away as well. DeMarcus Evans then comes on for the Rangers in the bottom of the 14th, and he would proceed to work a 1-2-3 inning, capped off by a Devers ground ball to third base. So still 1-1, top of the 15th. Rougned Odor, of all people, is going to hit a line drive into left field. That's a 1-out base knock, so he's on first. Next batter up, Blake Swihart. He's going to poke one past Bogart at shortstops, and that's back-to-back singles for the Rangers, but nothing would come from it, as then Todd Frazier chops one over to third base, tags the runner as Devers fires across the diamond, a double play, gets them out of the inning. DeMarcus Evans stayed on for the 15th, and then would get a slow roller from Mitch Moreland, a great play by Todd Frazier. Nothing else happened in the inning. Yoan Ibar now on for the Red Sox in the 16th inning, and he would proceed to walk Willie Calhoun to start things off, so an immediate base runner for the Rangers, and then Joey Gallo. Could this be finally a lead? No. It's not even going to get to the wall. Daza at the track. Calhoun retreats to first, and then Greg Bird is going to ground into a double play. Fielded by Moreland, throws down to second. The tag is slapped on by Bogarts, and then Luis Garcia, the last Rangers pitcher left in the bullpen, comes on, gets off to a good start by striking out J.D. Martinez on the drop third strike, so 1 down. Next batter up, Xander Bogaerts falls behind to him, and the game is finally over. Playing 17 innings to decide a 2-1 ball game as Xander Bogaerts walks it off for the Boston Red Sox here at Fenway Park as the Texas Rangers lose an absolute heartbreaker. A game where Lance Lynn gets hurt in the 2nd inning, and then the bullpen has to get burnt out to the very last guy, and they cannot pull away with the win despite some incredible pitching performances from a lot of guys in that bullpen. Now, with that being said, that is going to wrap things up here for this edition of the Texas Rangers franchise here on MLB The Show 20. I've been your host, Jersey Born, and I am saying, Warren Zevon rules.